and a 1 and a bing, 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 bing. We're live. It is the Martin Fowler Scrum. It is Thursday. It is Sam and Brent. I'll go first. Had a bit more time this morning. What have I done? I've continued to work through. I still seem to only seem to be able to get through about 5 a day. Of these, this is like reviewing all of the premium members that we've got and trying to make sure that the data that we now have accessible by the API is all correct and reflects, like the state of affairs, the real state of affairs, as opposed to being in the messy state of affairs, which it sort of is. So continue slow progress through that. I feel like I've got to take like a day somewhere to just like plow through it. I mean, there's only about 60 people or so on, but anyway. Also, very pleasingly, we've got the new, this is website 1, login required. Pull request was finished up by Michael. I tweaked it. That's working on development, and I'm sort of pushing that through the pipeline out to production. So that's nice. I think I had an insight into what, like, on website 1, the 2 different approaches that I'd been using to try and handle intermittently failing JavaScript tests were actually, well, the one that I'd introduced previously, which was to ignore certain particularly unreliable tests, had actually been replaced by, rather than being added to, this approach of rerunning the entire test. Like, after you let it run once, and then you take anything that failed and you rerun it a second time to sort of check if it's like ideally, if it's intermittent, then it passes on the second run, and you kind of say, all right, fair enough. So give it a second chance. And I just made a change that actually combines those two approaches, I think, and hopefully maybe that will make the whole process more reliable. Maybe that can also improve the process on local support for us. We will see. Go on, brain. Although local support seems to have been quite reasonable recently. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. What happened yesterday? The website 1 meeting. Yeah, fairly good and efficient, I think. We've got coming up, what is it at the top of the hour? Deep learning mob, top of the hour. Then we've got the rearranged web dev mob after that, and then we've got the local support meeting. So yeah, lots going on. Yes, that's me. Brent, how are things with you?
Yeah, pretty good. So yesterday evening I implemented the search by field for all of the tables bar one. One of the tables is a reference table, and I didn't think it was relevant for that.
Sure.
And that's all in Azure, and it all seems to be working okay.
Top.
What else? We had the local support pair programming meeting, which I thought was very good. We got a new member. Well, I don't believe he's a new member to Agile Ventures. I think he's an old member who hasn't been around for a long time.
Is that Ote?
Yes, and he started last night, and he's committed to starting to do some stuff on the local support project in the new year. So that was good.
Ooh.
We got Nicholas set up with Heroku because he was having issues pushing to staging, so we got that fixed. And then we started to look at some of the
right. Go on. So I just have an intake of breath there, because in principle he shouldn't need to be able to push to Heroku staging in order to do a deploy, because we've got continuous deployment from the GitHub branch. But maybe I'll let you finish and we'll come back to that. Maybe go on.
Yeah. Sorry, that's put me off. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and then we started to look at some of the broken tests that the click-through had put in place.
Oh yeah.
And that might be a blocker for me, but I'll before I actually say it is, I'm going to spend a bit more time on it.
Okay.
The other thing I've been doing is the homework 5 for the Agile development using Ruby on Rails course. I think I'm just about at the end of that now. I've got a pairing session with Bill and Harshdeep later today, which hopefully that'll finish that off.
Right.
And then I've got the local support meeting.
All right. Busy. Yeah. Great fun working on that search by field thing yesterday. I'm quite excited about that. Like the power of that. Yeah.
yeah, so simple but so effective. Yeah.
Well, so what it's making me think of just doing or creating a little, we now I think that's our Scrum. It's making me think what I should do is I should just quickly set up the domain endpoint there, which we can certainly do. Yes, sorry to have interrupted you there, because I had yesterday with Nicola gone through like the way to do a deploy to staging. And I guess I need to write that out or something. But I guess he's now off. I guess maybe he'll be in the local support meeting later today.
Probably not. I think his flight's quite early in the day today.
Yeah.
So he might not be.
No. Well, and I think we can maybe, we don't need to deal with that now. It's I think that's a documentation need on our side. Go on.
Yeah. So I didn't realize. So are we saying there's like a pipeline in place on?
Yeah.
Heroku, right? Because what he was trying to do and what I helped him do, obviously probably not appropriately, was to set it up so he could push to the staging of Heroku.
Yeah, and that's certainly a like, I mean, and he's asked to get more involved in the DevOps, and that's certainly a good ability for him to have available to him, since part of managing the DevOps process is being able to do that. However, in principle, with the various stuff that we've got set up, that shouldn't actually be required to get code onto the Heroku staging, if you know what I mean. And I will perhaps show you what I showed. What I showed him yesterday, but I think I probably did it too fast and so on. But in principle, so if we've got the develop, we've got the latest develop branch like so.
Yeah.
New one there. In principle, what we can do in order to get that new code onto staging on Heroku is we then check out the staging branch. We do git rebase staging. I won't do it now because, well, I mean, but having done that, that will pull, also maintain the nice clean history on the develop and the staging branch. And then we just do git push origin staging. So we're only pulling and pushing from the GitHub repos, but the CI that we have set up with Travis, as soon as all the tests will pass, they will automatically deploy to staging or develop or master or what have you.
So I think why this probably didn't work for Nicholas is that he's not pushing direct to the Agile Ventures. I think he's pushing to his own fork.
Okay, yeah. So then for him, he would need to be doing all the same thing but with upstream.
Yeah, so I think that's probably where he was getting confused.
Yeah. And no, my mistake. So I think also we probably want to document this process, and then we can put in a note about, if you're, because I mean, and he's got the permissions. He could be working with Origin being the the main repo. There's no requirement. I mean, obviously, if he prefers it, that's and how he started is working with his own fork. But once you're kind of a trusted developer, there's no particular gain from working with your own fork, I would say. Yeah.
I've certainly moved to going direct too.
Yeah, and that's a natural transition to make at some point. Oh, well, glad we could just figure that out. In the background, I have just logged into the Gandhi.net interface, and I was just, as I think I was saying in the not Paradox, is it? It's a Charity Commission Slack channel. I was just saying, yeah, we should create an appropriately named endpoint to make this all a bit more tight, particularly if we're going to start kind of talking to it from the main local support site. Yeah. So I was thinking of something like, I've just done it. There we go. Charity Commission API AgileVentures.org. There's a couple of funny steps that like a hop, skip, and dance that we need to do in order to get this working, which I don't quite have. So given that we're hosted on Azure Doku, I don't think there's any particular problem with sharing these DNS records information.
No, they're publicly available, so yeah.
Well, I think the zone file probably not publicly available, but the I think I for right or wrong, I tend to put education and learning above security. I would love camera saying that, but it's yes, I'd rather focus on people understanding how to do things and recover from the security failure. I mean, not when that involves end user data, but when it involves, like R,
Yeah.
So anyway, I will pay for my sins at some level, I'm sure. Now we've got some other folks like MetPlus here, right? I think in order to create, right, so I just had to do this. Like in order to have like metplus.agileventures.org, I had to set up a new DNS zone on Azure to support that. I've got some other things, different things. That's not Doku. And then I have like an async voter domain. So right, which allows me to have like production dot async voter and staging dot async voter, which I guess is what ultimately we want for the API thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that partly I'll bring up here is the namespace. Like, so we could create like charity commission API, which seems a little bit unwieldy, and then we could have production dot charity commission API, staging dot charity.
Do we need to keep commission in there? I don't know.
Or
maybe have UK charity.
Well, of course, and the interesting thing is that actually it's only England and Wales, which is because there isn't a nice common word for that. Britain is England, Scotland, and Wales, isn't it? And we don't have an England and Wales thing.
No.
But I guess charity API is. And of course, although we had taken that down at the moment, maybe we extend it and pull in a Scottish thing in there. But so maybe charity API is the way to go. And I guess, so that pushes me back to, it's not I can't just like point it from here. I need to go to the Azure console and create a new, which they call it a portal. It's portal, that's what it's called. And I have to do that in a different browser. And I have to create a DNS zone that will give me it will give me a set of things like this, I think.
Right, yeah.
NetPlus. Yeah. So I get
they are different. NetPlus is 2 and the other one's 1, isn't it?
Yeah. So this it's a different name server, and then I can control like subdomains from that, like production, staging, develop, what have you, from within the Azure setup. But okay. Well, that's a good initial. I think as far as we'll get there. It's the end of the Scrum. Anything else that we need to coordinate?
No. One thing that was asked in local support yesterday was about the pairing sessions. So what I've agreed is in the new year we'll have alternate weeks where we have it earlier in the day, so that there's more people can get involved. So I don't know if I can update, not today, but in maybe next week I'll do it. The event within website 1, can you make it every 2 weeks, or do I need to delete that event and create 2 new ones?
It can't be every 2 weeks, and this is an outstanding feature request that we've got on website 1, is to allow for that. And I think it's not in principle that hard to do. And the difficult thing is, even if you did delete it and create 2 events, they would both be on. It's either weekly or monthly, but they're only options.
Right. Okay.
So it.
I might just manually create them until we get that sorted then.
Yeah, and that may be something that we need to prioritize. And Michael is here.
Hello.
Hey, Michael. We can hear you. Yes. And but we were just about to finish up, Michael. But because you're here, how are things going with you?
Good. I just reviewed some of the slides for the upcoming deep learning mob.
Oh, yeah. Anything else to report?
Not right now, no. But I think I'm understanding the SVM classifier and everything.
Cool.
Because I was doing some work on that like a week or 2 ago, the code, but I haven't completely finished it.
Okay.
But the reviewing the slides has helped.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting into that next time, also working out which parts of the slides correspond to which parts of which homework. So that's all good. Cool.
Yeah, I think the first half of the lecture 3 slides are for the SVM, and then the second half are for softmax. Interesting. Cool. All right. Well, that's our Scrum.
Yeah, Michael, see you at the top of the hour. Brent, see you at the top of like the 4:30, or see you at 4:30.
Yeah.
All right. Bye for now. Take care.
Yep. Cheers. Bye.